Planning a fall youth ministry kickoff event? Don't get lost in the pumpkin patch. Instead, plan an event that students actually show up for and one that returns dividends down the road. How? I'm glad you asked. Welcome to the Hybrid Ministry Show. Well, hey everybody, welcome to the Hybrid Ministry Show. If you and I haven't had a chance to meet yet, my name is Nick Clayson, a 15-year youth ministry veteran. And in this episode, I want to share with you my all-time favorite event archetype for youth ministry fall kickoffs. In fact, included in the link down below is everything that you're going to need, including shopping lists, graphics, and the rundown in order to execute and pull this entire event off. But before we dive into that, I do want to talk just a little bit of youth ministry philosophy and strategy. So if you're only here for the event guide, hit the chapter mark down below and jump to that part of the episode. But for the rest of us, I want to ask this question, is doing an event, what is the purpose of doing an event in youth ministry? You know, I grew up under the tutelage of a ministry philosophy called Sun Life. Shout out to Sun Life. And they're still around, but they are not as predominant or as prevalent as I remember them being when I was in middle school or high school. You know, my dad was a youth pastor and he was closely associated and affiliated with them. And so thus I went to student-based trainings and conferences, and they have a ministry philosophy called spiritual CPR, and each of the letters in that are an acronym for a different thing. So the C in spiritual CPR is cultivate. It's the idea of building and investing in a relationship. Think about a friendship. And probably one of the things I remember the most from this was if you had a neighbor and every single time you were outside gardening or getting the mail and you bumped into your neighbor and you're trying to share your faith with them, share the gospel with them, you probably wouldn't every single time you talk to them be hey, if you died tonight, would you know exactly where you're going to be? And the Sun Life kind of strategy then implemented that back over into student ministry, and is hey, every time you have an event, every time especially you have an outreach event, you don't have to necessarily share the gospel. Part of it is trust building and cultivating that ongoing relationship. And that might be a polarizing opinion, but that's sort of the strategy and the philosophy that I've seen my youth ministries kind of thrive under, and that I've sort of adopted as a youth pastor, and also one that I grew up in as a teenager. And so this event is a cultivate style event. It's one where the goal is to cultivate and build relationships. Meanwhile, the P then stands for plant, and that's a regular youth night. That's one where you will, obviously teach a Bible lesson from scripture, and you're going to kind of be planting these seeds of faith and about Jesus and about what people understand. And then finally, the R stands for reap. And so CPR, cultivate, plant, reap, it's going to kind of have that gardening kind of metaphor. But the reap, right, is a farmer when it's time to harvest, they go out and they actually take the dividends, take the yield from the harvest of what they cultivated the soil with, of what they planted, and then how that grew, and then what it was officially time for them to take that. And so this style of event that I'm about to share with you is a classic cultivate type of event, an event where the goal is to just build relationship and earn trust. And I especially think a lot of times, I don't know about you, but a lot of times I feel youth pastors think the goal is to earn trust with the first time guest. And while we want to do that, I think more than that, the goal is to build trust with the student who's bringing their friend who already calls your church home. It's that student wants to know, can I bring my friend to something at the church and it not be weird and it not backfire on me, and my church not do something that makes me or my friend feel a little bit uncomfortable, or because what you're asking someone, a student, to do is you're asking them to lay down a pretty amazing amount of social capital in order to bring their friend to this event. And we say it all the time as youth pastors, right? Bring your friends, bring your friends, bring your friends. It's a common youth ministry sort of moniker. And so one of the things I like to do, and I only do these probably 3 or 4 times per year, is a strictly cultivate event. And now you might be thinking you don't have curriculum, you don't have content. That's one of the reasons why I link down below my hybrid strategy recommends filming your messages. And so we've done before where we didn't have the message, but we still had a message for that week. it's still tied to our Sunday morning curriculum. And so like as students were leaving, we'd share like just a little clip and say, hey, this is on YouTube, scan this QR code, go subscribe to our YouTube. And it's a great way to kind of accomplish both of the things that you're looking for. So with all that being said, with that philosophy sort of laid as groundwork, what's the best fall outreach event idea for youth ministries? Let's check it out. So some of my favorite cultivate event style of outreach events are centered around and predicated on this idea of a bracket. Now, if you've been new to my channel at any length of time, you can go back and look at some of these former episodes linked here on screen or down in the show notes. But I've detailed and outlined these bracket ideas several different times. In fact, I have an episode strictly dedicated to this exact event that I'm going to kind of like rehash here again. It's this world's greatest donut bracket. In fact, there's an entire product centered around this on Download Youth Ministry. And here's a couple of the reasons why I like this style of event. First and foremost, when youth ministries get larger than 30 to 40, you basically have to just create like a themed gathering or a themed party of sorts. And so like whatever that party is, like you just kind of like chop that chicken and like rehash it and like reuse it in different ways. But like we do all sorts of different things. And actually this is the start of a masterclass, like fall youth ministry masterclass playlist. This is episode number 1 here on YouTube. I'm going to be giving it away completely for free. But like step number 1 is having an amazing kickoff event. And so at these kickoff events, this particular one is going to be donut themed. And so as we take this donut themed event, what are the ways that we utilize it and use it throughout this night? Now, here's the reasons I like these bracket style events. Number 1, it's a voting style event. And so it's like a winner advances and the loser is out, but you can use it for multiple weeks in a row. I love things that like can carry on throughout. So like this might be a great like launch night. You're going to launch all 16 of the different like donut options, but in the coming weeks, you're going to vote them out. And so that has and promotes a carryover effect for students who may want to like bring their friends to this event, but then the friends come back. And then again, in the weeks that follow, those nights, are going to be more like standard youth ministry nights. You're going to be teaching a message. You're going to be having small group. You're going to be having discussion around what the Bible has to say. Meanwhile, this kind of donut theme thing is going on in the background. The other reason I like it is because it promotes social media. And again, you're going to want to subscribe because at the end of this 5-part masterclass, we are going to be talking about how to continue not only with this spark of social media, but how to then carry that on into a more regular rhythm and one that you as a youth pastor, you may have to get up off the ground, but then you fully hand it off to students. Because you see, this world's greatest donut event is all meant to and aimed at pushing students to go check out your social channels, whether it's YouTube, TikTok, or over there on Instagram. So in the event guide, you're going to get a full service order. So we have a 5-minute countdown timer. It's a world's greatest donut themed countdown timer. It is available in the Download Youth Ministry link, again, included in the show notes down below. And then at the beginning, we like welcomed people. We told them that it was time to like start voting, and we gave away some door prizes and some giveaways. We did some worship songs, and then we played a game called Guess That Donut. And then we gave the winner like a big box of like a dozen of like custom craft, like, special curated donuts. And then we played the donut on a string game. That's where like you have a friend up above, like on a chair or on the stage with like a donut on a string. And then the person down below has to be the first one to eat it. That's a super fun game. And then we're going to detail this fully in a future episode. Again, make sure you're subscribed. But we give our students like open kind of like rec free time in the middle of our event. So we have all sorts of different things in there, like donut decorating, find the donut, steal the donut tattoo stations. Again, subscribe. We're going to go over that in a future episode. Then we called everybody back in and we gave away a grand prize of sorts. And so as you're looking ahead and as you're thinking about planning, I have like links, I have downloads, I have what you need in order to take this event to the next level. That is downloaded and available for you completely for free. Go check out my free donut event guide. Go grab the world's greatest donut guide over on Download Youth Ministry. Ministry and start planning your fall kickoff and your fall calendar so that you have an event that is going to not only be amazing and fun and sweet, obviously, because donuts are amazing, but also you're going to start creating and building the groundwork for a strong hybrid and a strong social media presence. And this is the perfect way to kick off your school year with this. And again, a reminder, at the end of this playlist, I'm going to be dropping something huge that you are not going to want to miss out on. So make sure that you're subscribed. And until next time, and as always, my friends, don't forget to stay hybrid.